It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, what's happening? I jumped the gun. I'm so excited to get on. I jumped the gun. All right, you know what? Here, I'll start. No, I won't. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll out. What's happening, everybody? I got my screen here. We got multi things going on one time. Welcome. It's the Geno Jones Show. You know that. You can see, even Stevie Wonder can see this big ass sign behind me. All right, Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Central Time, 4:30 p.m. on the West Coast. Programming note: we are weeks away from a brand new start time. It'll be 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll be 6 p.m. Central Time. It'll be 4 p.m. on the West Coast. And if you live in Denver, you're in the Rocky Mountain time zone, it'll be 5 o'clock. But right now, about 7:31. So Denver's 5:31. Live in Los Angeles, Las Vegas is about 4:30 in the afternoon, a little after 4:30. All right, listen, I need everybody to do this right now. Click on that thumbs up button. Do it right now for a brother. Hook a brother up like some good bootleg cable. Bam, share, and subscribe. Click on the thumbs up button. Share, copy, and paste the link. You can copy and paste the link to this show. Copy and paste it on your forehead. Bam, on your butt cheeks. Bam, bam. Copy and paste it on your belly button. I don't care where you copy and paste it on your neck, on your fingers, on your eyebrows, wherever. It's all good. So share, and subscribe. If you haven't done it, click on that subscribe button. You see it right there. Thank you very much. All right, listen, everybody. So I issued a challenge. I issued a challenge last night at the end of the show to Black America. A Black Voters Challenge. Now, it's a real simple formula, because people are just tired with the racism, and the racism that has been, the racists have been given a permission structure has been created. They have been given permission by their orange Lord and Savior, Orange Hitler, to really just fly your racist flag, just be as openly racist. And they feel that, well, they found out. They effed around and found out. But now, and the racism was always here, but now it's been emboldened, it's been energized, and it's been given a permission structure to be its worst self. But we can end a lot of this bigotry and hatred and just $5 gas prices, and we got a war that we didn't sign up for in Iraq, and you got recalls on eggs and all kind of soup and all kind of food. It's lettuce. Yes, it's crazy out here, but we can end this madness. And one way to end it, Black America, we can do this. We can do it. Because we are the straw that stirs the drink. We are the elixir for America. So here's the Black Voters Challenge. Real simple. And I guarantee, this is a guarantee, if we can match and meet these numbers, this foolishness will end. It will start to end in November. I promise. But we early vote, because election day is late voting. Early voting is when we need to vote. That's election day is the first day of early voting wherever you are. Here in South Carolina, early voting now, because it used to be 30 days, but see, they got slick because they're afraid, because they realize if black people if we showed up for ourselves in the numbers that we can. Do you know our ancestors, when African American men were first allowed to vote right after the end of, shortly after basically 1865, because 1863, really the Civil War ended, but you know, our brothers and sisters in Galveston, Texas, they were trifling. It took 2.5 years for the word to get down to our brothers and sisters in Galveston, Texas. But do you know, right after that, in the 1870s, African-American voter turnout was over 80%. I think it's one of the first, some of the elections, the black voter turnout of registered black voters was like at 100% or near 100%. So here's the Black Voters Challenge for today, 2026. If 80% of all the registered black voters show up and vote, and show up and vote for humanity over hate, show up and vote for affordable health care, housing, groceries, and gas, we'll shut this shit down. Because a lot of the non-melanated people, a lot of the colonizers, and a significant number of the cult, the MAGA cult, realize that your whiteness and that red cap doesn't help you at the gate. When you got to fill up your gas tank, you got that new car, you got to put that 93 octane in there, right? Yeah. And that pump says $5. Your whiteness and that MAGA hat, you don't get a discount. When you go get groceries, you go check out your whiteness, that MAGA hat, you don't get a discount. Healthcare, housing, your rent, your mortgage, you don't get a MAGA discount. You don't get a whiteness discount. You paying full freight, full fare. So now a lot of the MAGA cult members realize, wait a minute, this whiteness and buying into this racism, it's not benefiting me, it's benefiting these billionaires. So, but we don't even have to worry. If we are all we got, we are all we need, and we got everything we need. Black Voters Challenge, Black America, 80%. If 80% of all the registered black voters, if the black voter turnout, in terms of registered black voters, if we vote at 80% out of a potential 100%, if 80% of all the registered black voters show up and vote, we'll show up for healthcare, housing, gas, and groceries to make it affordable, and childcare, and a whole lot more. And no more of these data centers in our neighborhoods and communities, just using up all the water supply, running up your energy bill, and polluting the air around you. All of that noise, everything. So, as a matter of fact, I'm bringing a guest on just in a few minutes. He is running to be the South Carolina treasurer. Brother's name is Vincent. You're going to see him shortly. And I'll let him, I want to get his feedback and see how, if he agrees, how he feels about my Black Voters Challenge of 80% calling for minimum 80% of all the registered black voters to show up and vote. Show up. And if you don't want to show up for yourself, show up for somebody you love. Show up for your children, for your grandchildren. Show up for your nieces, for your nephews. Show up for your elderly mom or dad or your grandparent. Show up for your neighbor. Show up for your fraternity brother, your sorority sister. Show up for your Mason brother or your Eastern Star sister. Show up for your church members. Show up for your neighbors. And yeah, you need to show up for yourself. But if you don't want to show up for yourself, show up for somebody you love. All right, Leos, let me shout out my Leos. Leos, it is your time to shine. Leos, stand up. Celebrating a birthday today. Today is the first day of the sign of Leo the Lion, July 23rd. If today, July 23rd, is your birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I can hear Stevie Wonder singing in the background. Happy birthday to you. Or if you want to get a little more ratchet, I can hear the 50 Cent beat. Go, 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 shorty. It's your birthday. Go, shorty. It's your birthday. Go, shorty. Da-da-da-da-da-da. But I ain't really messing with 50 because he done went MAGA. So, anyway, that's about all the props he's going to get on this show. Celebrating a birthday today, July 23rd. Michelle Williams, Chicago native from Destiny's Child, 46 today. Marlon Wayans from that funny family, the Wayans family, 54. Mr. Dalvin from Jodeci, 55, double nickel. I call 55 double nickel. And Kim Oh yeah, ladies. I know. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're feeling a certain kind of way. You're feeling a little something, a little lot something, right? Just thinking about the brother. Shout out to my man Kim, 57 today, and to all the Leos. If you are celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday. All right, my guest is running to be South Carolina treasurer. He is part of this incredible slate of candidates right here in the state of South Carolina. Without any further delay, bam, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure and my honor to welcome Brother Vincent Cole, our next South Carolina treasurer. Good afternoon, I guess early evening. Good evening, my brother. How we doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing well. Great to be with you, brother Geno Jones. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, listen, I want you to give us your origin story, but before I do, you are a professional, and you're running for one of the highest offices in the state. What do you think of my It's a challenge. Some may say it's
Yeah.
a theory, but it's rooted in fact because I've done my homework.
Mhm.
So my challenge is for black voters, Black America. If we show up, if 80% of the registered voters here in South Carolina nationwide, if 80% of all the registered black voters show up and vote for people like yourself, vote for, like I said, vote for affordable health care and housing and gas
Yes.
and groceries and child care, you will be the next South Carolina treasurer.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think I'm 100% behind you that if we can do more than 80%, and what if we had 100% representation, right? If folks really exercise the power that they already have, and I don't know if folks really get how impactful that can be, because it can be the deciding factor between who's going to be your next state treasurer, who's going to be your next state governor. Your voice, your vote matters a whole lot, and particularly in this season because we have a chance to flip South Carolina blue here in November. And I'll take it a step further, not just because we assume that every black person or every person of color is a Democrat. There may be black Republicans, there may be black independents who have been engaged in the process. This is your time as well. It's a time for everybody, irrespective of political influence, whatever. Your voice, your vote is what's going to win the day here in November. And as you said, early voting. Folks can start voting early and making sure that they are registered before October the 3rd is when early voting starts here in South Carolina. So I am right with you and just one wholeheartedly stand with you and encourage everybody. If you are registered, vote. If you're not registered, get registered so you can vote. It's going to matter a whole lot.
And Vincent, brother Vincent, I want to piggyback on a point you were making, because personally, I think, and look, I work in the media, so I know the evil genius that
Mhm.
they kind of that they inflicted on. I guess that's the right verb that they used on the public, because these
Mhm.
labels distract and confuse, and it's good, it's great for viewers and clicks and time spent listening and watching and all that. But we are
Right.
living in a time right now, today in 2026. As a matter of fact, I told my daughter last night,
Mhm.
yesterday afternoon, I said, Allie, I said, we are living through basically 1926.
Yes.
What's happening like today, right here, right now,
Yes.
a lot of what is happening today, it was happening exactly the same
Yeah.
way, literally 100 years ago. But the point I wanted
Yes.
to make to piggyback on what you were talking about, these labels are distracting because now it's beyond, the labels are thrown out the window.
Yes.
You have one political party that, yes, is not perfect, and listen, there's a lot there's a lot that needs to be changed. Uh,
Yes.
yes, it is not racism free, but
Mhm.
it's still rooted. There's enough people that's a part of this current Democratic Party that
Yes.
believes in health care and affordable housing, and it's not perfect. It's look,
Yes.
there's a lot of flaws,
That's right.
and then you have a cult. So the point I like to make, and I've been making on the show, is now you are choosing. It's beyond political ideology. You are
Yes.
choosing between humanity and
Yes.
inhumanity.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
what I see, especially coming from the top, from the federal level, I see inhumanity on every level. So people are
Yes.
like, and now, you know, people have tried. There have been forces that's tried to demonize the word woke, which
Right.
is really sinister because our ancestors created the term woke or
Mm.
being awake like 100 years ago
Right.
because
Right.
of the times they were living in. It was to be awake, to be awake and aware, know
Yes.
where you are. You need to
Yes.
have your eyes open because
Right.
you could be hanging from a tree, you could be murdered, you could be disappeared, you could
Yes.
wind up like Emmett Till. I mean, thousands of our ancestors that we never even know about. So it
That's
was a
right.
time to where you had to, know where you're going, know what towns not to stop in,
That's
sundown
right.
towns, know
That's right.
know where you can stop, where you can't stop.
Hmm.
So, but it's a simple choice. Either you
Yeah.
choose humanity, you choose healthcare, housing, groceries, gas, childcare, uh, affordable energy bills, just
Yes.
people's respecting people's human rights,
Yes.
civil rights. But it's just it's which really when you think of civil rights, it's rooted in humanity. Just
Right.
treat me as a human with respect and decency.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
it's a choice
Yes.
between humanity and inhumanity. And the people, the politicians who understand that they are public servants and that
Hmm.
lean into the common humanity and realize that when politicians are voted into office, they are
Hmm.
given an incredible responsibility and power by the
Yes.
citizens. But their job is to make the life that power is to be used to make the lives better of
Yes.
all people, even people that don't
Yes.
vote for you. It's just
Absolutely.
that plain and simple. So I didn't mean to get
No.
long-winded
No.
with it,
Absolutely.
but I,
Listen. You got an amen. I'm in the amen corner. I'm right there with you.
well, I'll let you speak to that in detail. Go ahead. Mhm.
No, but absolutely, and I think you said it perfectly. That it's less about titles, it's less about what we're calling it. It's just more about what is right, what is
Yes.
wrong. And if you believe in what is right and not in what is wrong, then it's time to use your voice, which is your vote, which is your participation in the process to ensure that the next generation does not have to face what we are facing now. The history does not repeat itself when it doesn't have to be like that, right? We think about the shoulders that we're standing on where folks have given their lives and their livelihood, their ability to earn a living because they wanted to participate in a process that was not necessarily set up for them in the first place, but because the powers that be had some get right or act right from folks who were able to speak truth to that power.
Yes.
And I think that is the time that we're living in now where we can truly demonstrate that the power does belong to the people. And it shouldn't be that the power being against the people, it's the power working for the people. And I think that message needs to ring out clear, not just here in South Carolina, but across this entire nation. And I think we have the catalyst that I think that has brought us here is the politics that we've seen in Washington, D.C., is the decisions that have been made with not the people in mind, but with special interests, but with individuality. Individuality and leadership does not go hand in hand, right? So if you want to be a leader, you want to be able to serve. The greatest gift
Yes.
that a leader has is to serve those that he's in charge of leading. And I just believe that this moment is required when folks like myself who just stepped up and said, you know what? The question has been asked. Well, what are you going to do about it? I can sit on the sidelines. I can continue to say, oh, that ain't right. Or, it could be, should be this. But what can I do? And I decided, made the decision through much prayer and counsel that this is that moment where I'm going to stand up and do what's right for the people that I care about, the people that I love, even people who may not love me back. I'm still going to try to love and do whatever I can to make sure that the future is preserved for that next generation, so that we don't have to ask the question, well, what did you not do, or why didn't you? The answer is going to be, I did everything that I could, and I got nothing left to give.
I love that, Vincent. I kind of paraphrase a quote from a movie, The Untouchables. Kevin
Mm,
Costner and Sean Connery, and of
hmm
course Kevin Costner played Elliot Ness, a federal agent that was basically trying to arrest Al Capone. And there's
hmm
a scene in the movie. I don't know if you saw the movie. Sean Connery, he was like the only like honest cop,
mm,
back in the Capone era, where all the cops and the mayor and the judges were all crooked. They were on Capone's
right,
payroll, and
right.
Elliot Ness was frustrated because he couldn't get the evidence, the goods to
hmm
arrest and convict Al Capone. And it was
hmm
a scene in the movie. Sean Connery sat Kevin Costner down and he said, "What are you prepared to do about it?
Yes, yes,
What
yes.
are you? You can talk about it. You can bitch and moan, and you can you can cry and stomp your
Right,
feet. But
right.
what are you prepared to do about it?"
Yes, yes. That's the question. That's the question. And then what you actually do is the answer.
Yes,
So,
yes. So, Vincent, give us your origin story, brother.
yeah, absolutely. So I'm a native South Carolinian, and I am extremely blessed to have been born and raised into a family that, with a lot of love. I did not grow up wealthy. I did not grow with the silver spoon in my mouth. I grew up with the understanding that you work for whatever you want in this life, or whatever you want in the world. You have to work and earn it. And to me, that has been the foundation that has brought me wherever I am today. I'm originally from Darlington, South Carolina. So Darlington has some unique history in South Carolina, and I would say the nation as well. I graduated from Lamar High School, and Lamar High School is actually one of the schools that was impacted by the Brown versus Board of Education decision back in during the Civil Rights Movement. My mother, who also graduated from Lamar High School, was among the students in that class where they turned over the buses because of the desegregation of schools in Lamar, South Carolina. So
Wow.
I have a long history. And so again, talking about what this moment means to have someone who's coming from Darlington, South Carolina, coming from a school of Lamar High School. And as a matter of fact, my first grade teacher is now the mayor, a black lady, a black young lady named is Mrs. Lee. She's the mayor, I believe the first black female mayor of Lamar, South Carolina. She was my first grade teacher, and she too has made history. So I just believe that this season is history is being made,
Yes.
and it's going to take all of us realizing that we again have that power to do something, do what's right for the next generation. um, I took my great education that I got here in Darlington County, went to University of South Carolina, got my degree from the Moore School of Business, and studied finance and business. And so I was blessed and fortunate enough to become a federal bank examiner, where I
Okay.
worked in the state of New York. I examined banks for safety and soundness concerns, consumer compliance. So my career in banking started from a regulatory standpoint. And I was fortunate to, amass a lot of skills and experiences that have carried me to where I am now. Was able to move away from New York and get my law degree. I'm a lawyer. I'm not a practicing lawyer, but I have my law degree, which I earned from Case Western Reserve in Cleveland, Ohio. And what's special about Cleveland or Case Western is brother Fred Gray. I'm also a member of Omega Psi Phi. So my fraternity brother Fred Gray, was the representative or was the attorney for Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King back in the Civil Rights Movement. So it seems like my path has been, uh, as they say, the steps of a good person is ordered. I just believe my path has been centered and kind of, orchestrated in a way that has led me to where I am now. And so I believe those experiences as a former bank examiner, as a former bank officer, I am proudly and ready to step up and serve as South Carolina's next state treasurer for the state of South Carolina. So it's a moment, and I'm just grateful for everything, every single thing, and every opportunity.
Well, you've got the receipts, brother. You more. I doubt if there's ever been treasurer, a state treasurer that's got your receipts and resume. I, I can't confirm. I would just put it this way. I'd be very
I've
confident
been
putting
hearing the same.
money on your resume against the resume of any former South Carolina treasurer in the state's history.
Right. You're not the first person that said that, so I'm going to take your word. I think you're right about that.
Yeah.
But listen. I say it humbly, and I receive that gracefully.
Hey,
I'm
listen.
just
Muhammad
fortunate.
Ali said it ain't bragging if you can back it up, and you can bag it up. You got the receipts, brother. You listen. You put the work in.
You're right.
You
You're right.
you
The fact,
absolutely
the
put the
receipt.
work in, which led me to my next question. Because my next question is, what is your why? Like if we I always do this on the show. I said, come on, we're gonna take a walk. We're gonna take a tour. All the barbershops and the beauty salons, old school beauty. My grandma said, I'm going to the beauty salon. What would and we walked in and some of the people, the brothers and sisters in the barbershop or the beauty salon said, okay, what's your why, Vincent Cole? Why do you really want to
Mhm.
do this? And how is your position? Explain to me what exactly does a treasurer do? And how
Yeah.
will you being the treasurer, how will it improve my everyday life, my daily life?
Yeah, that's excellent question. So the short of it is that the treasurer is basically the state's banker. And so if anybody has ever wanted to go out and do like or open up a business, let's use that for an example. Most folks don't have like a pile of money just sitting inside or just someplace buried or whatever. Most folks have to go to a bank and want to take out a loan, like a small business loan. So I think of me as being like your banker that you want to go to and say, hey, what is my state doing, or what can my state do that's going to benefit me better? What about the schools, and what about the roads? What about the infrastructure? What about the teachers' pay? What about all of those things that the treasurer has a responsibility to make sure that those things are paid for, and that the funds that we have, that the taxpayer money is invested in a way that we're going to get a return on it, and that we're going to put money back into the pockets of taxpayers. So if we can become more efficient with the money that we do have folks paying taxes, what ways can we return some of that money back into the pockets of everyday citizens, like a person who owns a barbershop? Could the treasurer's office work with a small business, a first time small business, or somebody who has a dream to do something greater, or have a kid or have children that they want to put through college? The treasurer's office has a direct role in helping them to put money aside so that they can invest that money into their child's education once they graduate from high school. Many things cover, touches and concerns the citizens in South Carolina from the treasurer's office. And for the bottom line is the money. The money is what moves things here. It's money and the power. So you want to make sure you have someone that has the credentials, has the trust, and has the capability to make sure that the money is moved in a way that is preserving the interests of the folks here in South Carolina, of a teacher, of a barber owner, of a parent who's trying to figure out how I'm going to pay for my child's education.
So, give me your day one on day one. And I'm sure you've already thought this out. When you become the South Carolina treasurer, because like I said, my grandmother taught me. She would say, "Jeannie, name it and claim it, speak it into existence." So we are naming and claiming you as our next South Carolina treasurer. So
Absolutely.
what is your day one priority or priorities?
Yeah, day one, and it probably is going to be happening pre day one, but for day one, I want to make sure that I have a good, clear understanding about where are we? Where are we in the state treasurer's office from a trust standpoint? Do we have trust in the bank that we can tell the taxpayers that we have their best interests at heart? And I will take just a step back, and just because I mentioned this before, but we are currently in a peculiar state here in South Carolina, because the current state treasurer's office has been under investigation for the past year plus because of some mismanagement, or the allegation of mismanagement of funds. And so there has been an ongoing investigation. So my day one is to making sure that I can bring back that bare minimum, the standard of trust that this office deserves and needs. Any banker, anybody who puts money in a bank, you want to make sure that you can trust that that money is going to be there when you need it, right? And so that same measure needs to happen here in the state treasurer's office. So my day one is to making sure that the voters, that the citizens of South Carolina are assured that their money is safe and sound, and that they know how much money we have in the bank and where that money is, and is it protected, is there anything that it could jeopardize them having to possibly pay more in taxes because of investigations and so forth, because folks are not doing things in a transparent manner? Is there any shadow of doubt? And my day one is making sure that I restore that level of trust again on the very first day, because you got to start with trust. Because if you don't have trust, I mean, you can't go anywhere without trust.
So, Vincent, does the treasurer oversee the operations of like public banks? Now, because we have some local banks, state banks, and then there banks, larger companies. Your
Hmm.
Bank of
Hmm.
America, your Chases,
Sure.
your larger banks. So,
Sure.
what role does your job will it be as the South Carolina treasurer? Will you have any oversight with the larger banks? Will you have
Yes.
any oversight with any of the banks, either local or national?
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's several different interplay between, like, so state banks and private banks. So the treasurer sits on the entity called the Board of Financial Institutions. The Board of Financial Institution is the state supervisor of any bank that is chartered here in South Carolina. And for a bank to receive a charter, you fill out an application where the treasurer's office or the Board of Financial Institutions looks at and to evaluate and make sure that that bank um, is safe and sound, and that they have the management or folks that are capable of running it in a way that is going to be prudential and in a trustee standpoint, where they are doing things that's going to make sure that it protects the interests of the beneficiaries, meaning the depositors. And so the treasurer's office has a direct correlation between all the money that flows here in South Carolina. And so there's also money that, let's say if there's money sitting in an account, or money that is reserved or being held aside, the treasurer has the ability to invest that money in any bank here in South Carolina. And a lot of this information is public, and they produce statements and so forth to show where the money is and sort of what the balances are and so forth. So there's direct correlations and relationships with banks all across South Carolina, and not just in South Carolina, but also outside of South Carolina. Because when we talk about investing in infrastructure, there's relationships there as well. So he plays a critical role for the financial security of the state, not just short term, but particularly long term. Because we talk about retirees, we talk about the state retirement system. He has a hand in that. We talk about the pension system. He has a hand in that. There's several ways that the treasurer has roles and interplays in making sure that these things run smoothly and efficiently. So the main bottom line is to making sure that we can bring back some more efficiency, and we can bring back that transparency so folks know what's going on, and providing to the General Assembly, who oversees this office, making sure that they can trust and have faith in the information that is coming out of the treasurer's office. That has not been the case in the past year plus.
So let me see if I understand you. So one of the roles that the treasurer has, uh, overseeing what banks. So that there's the state generates revenue from different areas, and
Correct.
if I understand you correctly, the state, they pick certain financial institutions to invest that money. Maybe I guess the best example I think about, like the college fund. The state has like a
Hmm.
529 college fund. Now,
Right.
but my question is, uh, I don't know what the track record is. I would guess it's probably not pretty good in terms of the opportunity for black banks to be considered to be some of those financial institutions that the state will consider investing in. I don't want to make any assumptions. I'll let you speak to that.
Sure.
But I believe in my spirit and my soul that you will be fair in terms of making sure that black-owned banks, like all banks, will be on a level playing field and will be
Absolutely.
judged based on their performance and nothing else.
Correct. Absolutely, absolutely. And you bring up a very, very great point, because that's something that I dealt with as a former bank examiner, where we have what we call a special purpose bank, or a minority deposit institution. Those, and just by the term, we come back to titles. Just because they're a minority deposit institution or a specialty bank does not mean that they can't provide the same service that a traditional, or that a commercial, or a well-established bank has done or able to do. everybody should have a fair chance to show, again, back to what you just said, can they perform in the best interest of the taxpayers? Can we form relationships and partnerships with banks, irrespective of who sits on the board, irrespective of who their main client base is? Because at the end of the day, money is green. And if the Democrat, Republican, is the money safe? Can we grow money? Can we grow the money? Can we put the money in a bank that's going to give us a good amount of interest that we can say, hey, taxpayers, here's the money that we put here, and here's the amount of money that we were able to accumulate more interest so that we can protect, again, the future things that we want to do here in the state. So we don't have to take out loans and so forth. We have the money on reserve, and here is the performance. Here is how we have done. And again, if they're not measuring up, okay, what other conversations do we have to bring in others who can perform, if not better, just as good as the ones that we already, currently have relationships. And that is not to excuse or diminish the relationships that they already have. It's just to making sure that, again, that playing field is equal and that there is access for everybody, irrespective of title, irrespective of socioeconomic or in demographic information. It's a, level playing field all around.
Brother Vincent, you are very impressive, man. Very, very impressive. Like I said, I am speaking into existence. I am naming and claiming you as our next South Carolina treasurer. I want to give you the last word. If there's any final word that you want to share with the viewers, with the voters, and make sure you let everybody know where they can go and support your campaign. Campaigns need cash. As a man, you are the money man as a treasurer, so you know better than anybody. Campaigns need cash, but campaigns need volunteers. So let everybody know where they can go, learn more about you and your campaign and your policy positions, and how they can support your campaign. And if like I said, you need volunteers also. So I'm sure you got a website. Give us that information where people can go and support you right now, and we'll give you the last word.
Awesome. Yeah, folks can visit my website at vincentforsc.com. That's VINCENT for SC.com. You can go on that site, and it has a host of information about my qualifications, about what I'm bringing to the table, and what I plan to do for South Carolina moving forward. I have an active account so folks can donate, and as you said, we need donations because that's going to help really get my name out there. And again, not just for my own sake, but just for the sake of everybody here in South Carolina, because I just believe everybody deserves a chance. Why not? And if you have a treasurer that you can trust, you have somebody that has South Carolina is home. It's home for me. This is the place that bared me, the place that raised me. And why not make this moment work for all of us and do what we can to move the state forward? The last message that I would share with any and all voters is, you have a simple question to ask yourselves is, am I better off today than I was 4 years ago, 8 years ago? We have seen evidence as to what has happened. What do we want the future to be? What do we want? What do we want that $1.8 billion that came up missing, that mismanagement funds? Shouldn't that money go back into the pockets of everyday taxpayers? What can we do better to ensure that our kids don't have to worry about, well, can I afford to go to college? Can't we put some money aside if the cost of living is down, if the gas prices come down, if the groceries come down? Can't we put some money aside so that we can prepare for our future? And again, it starts early. One of the biggest components that I love to talk about is the financial literacy. And we got to get our younger kids at a very young age to understand the importance of saving, starting saving early and often. It builds up over time. And that's your gateway into wealth, is to saving early so that you'll have something when you want to retire. You don't have to buy the Jordans today. You can buy a piece of stock in Nike so that you can possibly have a franchise or something later down the road, right? So it's the little things. It's the little things, and the little goes a long way if you just stay on the straight and narrow and do what's right. I believe this is our moment. I believe that not just myself, we have candidates all across the ballot. We have Secretary of Education, Secretary of Agriculture, Secretary of State, all of these well-qualified candidates, and not just myself. We can do this thing together as a team, because it's going to take all of us to move the needle here in South Carolina. But I need all of you all of the listeners, all of the voters, tell your family, tell your friends, everybody that we got this, and it's our moment. So thank you so much for having me. And I'm just grateful.
Well, thank you, brother. And I'm just going to throw in my own little editorial comments, since this is, There's the sign. So that's the name of the show. And I'm the CEO. Listen, I know a lot of times you hear about all these rich donors and billionaires and millionaires. Listen, money doesn't vote. People vote.
Yes.
But a lot of
Yes.
people can donate a little. So the point I'm trying to make, just let's go back to where I started. 80%, the Black Voters Challenge for South Carolina and America. 80% of all the registered Black voters show up, and 80% of that 80% vote for our common humanity and healthcare, affordable healthcare, housing, gas and groceries and childcare, and vote for candidates like this brother here. So you don't have to have $2,000. You may have $20. You may have $5. But just imagine if, I believe in the primary, brother Jermaine Johnson, who's running for governor, he got over 200,000. Just imagine if that 200,000, just $20 out of that $200,000. Do the math. So the point I'm trying to make is, whatever you have to give, and I'm not now, Vincent, if I'm out of line, then you can check me on my own show here, because I'm not I'm not just speaking for you. I'm in general. That's the mindset I want us to have, is that don't worry about what other folks have. Just focus on what you can give, and if we all give something, a little of a whole lot, a little. If a lot of people only got a little, but it's a lot of us, it ain't gonna be a little amount. It's gonna be a lot.
Yes, a lot. So
I just want to. I really want to make sure there's a message that I'm going to beat, like Sheila E. playing the drums when she was kicking it with Prince. I'm beating that drum because that's so important. We need to kind of shift our focus, or as one of my teachers would say, shift your paradigm, how we see things, like you talked about. Yeah, LeBron and Mike got enough money. How about getting some stock in Nike? Yes. And they've been struggling, so now might be a good time to get that Nike, because you may be able to get that Nike stock for a little cheaper than it was maybe a year or 2 years ago. So thank you. But that's so important. So whatever you have to give, please. Once again, Vincent for SC is it .com or .org?
.com.
.com. Thank you.
Yes.
You have a permanent home on this show, Vincent. So whenever you need to come back on to discuss whatever matter it is, I'm definitely going to round everybody up right before early voting starts. Early voting starts 2 weeks before the general election, which is November. So we're not voting on November 3rd. Now,
that's right.
Some folks may not have a choice. But once again, 80%, that's the challenge. If 80% of all the registered Black voters in South Carolina and America show up, you will be our next treasurer. So if 80% can't go early, if we can get like 75, 78, 79%, and we figure 1-2% maybe couldn't get off work or whatever, but if we get close to that 80%, and personally I say I'm going for 100%.
That's
100%.
That's
but I guarantee everybody that's watching me right now, if 80% of all the registered African American voters show up and vote, it's a wrap. The madness, the hatred, the bigotry, the division, the out of control prices where folks are insider trading. That's a whole nother conversation. A small handful of people are getting very, very wealthy, and the rest of us, they don't give a shit. The rest of us are struggling. And some folks that hadn't struggled before. There's some folks making six figures that are struggling in ways that they have probably hadn't struggled since they were a kid, maybe.
Yes.
So we're all in this together. Vincent Cole, thank you. Running to be South Carolina treasurer once again. See, ladies and gentlemen, there's your next South Carolina treasurer, but he can't do it by himself. The most important thing, he needs you to show up. 80% at least, 100%. And he needs you to show up with your support financially. Vincent for SC.com. Thank you, Brother Vincent. Be blessed, brother. Looking forward to having you back on the show. Thank you.
Absolutely. God bless.
Got you. God bless you too.
All right.
Man, super impressive brother right there, boy. I mean, Listen, he got the receipts. He got the resume. All right, listen, thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you, and especially you, God, most of all. Thank you. And shout out to everybody, the conversation. Also, everybody in the chat room. I didn't get a chance to get to you. Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Central Time, 4:30 p.m. on the West Coast. Programming note, we are weeks away from a brand new start time, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. on the West Coast. We are weeks away. But tomorrow, Friday, kicking off the weekend. I'll see you at 7:30. Allie Jones, she is the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. Check her and her Lexi Jones collection out on Instagram, IGLX.NCL_LX.N like Nanette, CL like Lexi _. Shout out to Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. You can check him out on IG, on Instagram. Kel be cutting up. KELBECUTTINUP. Designer cuts. You can find him on social media. All right, real love. I love you. Absolutely, positively, unconditionally love you. And you and you. And real love, like a Mary J. Blige song. Real love. It is a verb. It is an action word. I know the dictionary may say love is a noun. It's actually a verb. And a verb is about action. It shows action. So when you love somebody, you show them you love them by your action and your behavior. And I love you. We'll see you live Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll holla.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.